Alright, in this video I want to talk about the importance of getting started in the world of investing and also the importance of getting started the right way. So what inspired me to do this video was the fact that Ian Castle reposted a blog post that he has written more than 10 years ago. A blog post that was simply titled Getting Started. And I found some of the lessons he shared in this article so timeless that I wanted to go through the lessons with you together, maybe share my take on some of the things he mentions. And so without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so if you don't know who Ian Castle is, just to give you some context here, he's basically the founder of the Microcap Club. And I would say he's just someone who's pushing the microcap community forward. So those who are investing in the smallest companies that are publicly traded. But that's not the point of this video. I want to talk about his blog post, as I said in the introduction of the video. So let me just read to you how he starts this blog post, because I believe the very first few lines are already incredibly powerful. So Ian wrote, "I believe God has created us with the ability to achieve our dreams. It is up to us to dream big. Everyone is born with a spirit of courage, but as we age, slowly develops into a spirit of fear. The quickest path to a mediocre life is to give in to your fear of failure." Yeah, and he's obviously right in what he's describing here. You have to dream big if you want to achieve big things in life. And in order to do so, you obviously have to surround yourself with people who also have high ambitions, people who aren't complaining all the time, people who help you push forward in times of difficulty. And personally, I believe investing, and investing in stocks specifically, is one of the best ways to achieve some of your dreams. Because I do acknowledge that not everyone is maybe as passionate about investing as I am. For many, it's just a means to achieve something else, and that's totally fine. The dreams most people have do require a certain financial wealth, a certain financial stability. And investing in stocks, one of the best performing asset classes of all time, is a great way to achieve just that. So maybe it's traveling to certain destinations for you. Maybe it's about living a financially free life. Maybe it's about giving back to the community you are a part of. Maybe you can just share what you are pursuing in life in the comments down below. All right, let's move on to the next part. So Ian then wrote in another paragraph, "If you ever want to become good at something, you have to immerse yourself in it." And again, I couldn't agree more with him here. So the point I want to make here is many people, when they start out investing, they kind of try to do their own thing. And what I mean by that is they approach the world of investing without having done the due diligence that is required to invest successfully beforehand. Maybe they have read a book on investing. Maybe they have read 2 or 3 books on investing. Maybe they follow some financial influencers online. And then they already believe that they have mastered this discipline of investing. But nothing could be further from the truth. Believe me, early on, you will quickly gain a lot of confidence in your investing skills, and only later you will realize how little you actually knew when you started out. And this phenomenon, this can actually be observed in various fields. It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, the fact that early on you tend to be a little overconfident when it comes to your skill and know-how. So what I would do if I would start today, and we'll get to this a little later, but I would truly, as Ian writes, immerse myself into this discipline. Try to read as much as I can, get a mentor, try to become really good really fast, and only then I would start investing more substantial amounts of money. And I would approach it with the mindset that I would maybe devote the first 1, 2, 3 years of my investing journey to truly get the fundamentals right. And what I mean by that is to truly develop an investment framework that is built on a solid foundation, on proven timeless investing principles that will then allow you to compound your wealth at good to great returns for a long period of time. That's much superior than starting with a mediocre framework, maybe half-baked investing solutions, processes, doing well maybe during 1 or 2 years, but then losing a lot of money during another year, which would definitely interrupt the compounding process, and then only later realize that you have to put in some work into getting the foundation right. By approaching investing like this, you're going to lose out on a few years of powerful compounding, which you don't want to miss out on. All right, next Ian wrote, "Even Charlie Munger is quoted by saying, the first $100,000 is a bitch. He's right. The first 100,000, the first 200,000, the first $500,000 is a real grind, but that is when you learn the hard lessons." So this goes, I think, in the same direction as what I just said. The first few years are going to be difficult and you are going to maybe see very little progress, but you have to do it. You have to push through, because later on, when you have more capital, when you have amassed, say, $500,000 US, obviously your annual gains in absolute terms, in absolute dollars, will be more significant and will maybe be more rewarding and encouraging. If you're starting, say, with $30,000 right now, a 10% return is only $3,000. Maybe that's your monthly income. So it doesn't feel like a lot, but you have to keep going. You have to start early, set the foundation, build the capital that is then required to eventually earn more significant sums of money based on your annual returns. And if you do that, and if you have a long-term perspective, there's no reason why you cannot amass massive wealth. And this is once again what Ian writes as well. He writes, there is no reason you can't make $10 million, $20 million, or $50 million or more, starting with a very small amount of capital. Other investors have done it, and there's no reason why you can't either. And I agree with him, but you have to get started, and obviously you will have to have a 20, 30, 40-year time horizon. In the next part that I want to quote here, Ian talks about excuses that many people come up with that holds them back from truly getting started in the world of stocks and in the world of investing. So he writes, new investors like to use the excuse of lack of resources for not getting started. They say, I don't have enough money. I don't have 6 trading screens. I don't have the right screening software. I don't have the right technology. I don't. First, stop using words like can't, don't, and won't. Losers use these words. And I think he's right. So for my mentorship program, for example, I usually do maybe 3 to 4 consultation calls a month. And during these calls, I also frequently hear excuses. Well, I'm going to start if I don't think I can. I won't. Oftentimes people will have excuses. And I would say 2 of the most commonly encountered excuses that I hear are I don't have the time and I don't have accumulated the money yet, which I think are excuses. You are fooling yourself. First of all, in terms of time, I think I teach an investment philosophy, and I think Warren Buffett subscribes to the same idea. And in this philosophy, you don't need a lot of time. You have to sit still most of the time. It's Warren Buffett's punch hole investing philosophy. If you can make 1 or 2 investments a year, that's it. Then sit on your investments for a long period of time, and you're going to have a few winners that are going to drive the majority of your returns. Then the other excuse, I don't have enough capital. Well, that is something, or maybe that is a mindset that can also be quite costly. Of course, I will later show you a couple of examples with regard to the power of compounding. And missing out on just 2, 3, maybe 5 years of investing can be incredibly costly. It can literally cost you millions of dollars. So let's say you right now only have a net worth or a portfolio value of $10,000. Nothing is holding you back from getting started. You have to get started eventually, and over time, again, 10, 20, 30 years from now, your wealth will have grown tremendously. But of course, you have to be patient, and this is what Ian Kessel writes as well. Be patient. You can't become a great investor overnight. So as I just said, I wanted to show you some numbers here. So let's look at the following scenario. Let's say you have $10,000 available to yourself. You are going to earn a return of 9% a year, compounded over time, and then you're going to invest for 30 years, and you are going to contribute another $1,000 a month over that 30-year time period. Well, maybe pause the video here and take a guess how much money you will have accumulated after 30 years. Well, if we have a look, you will have accumulated around $1.8 million. So as I said earlier, small sums can turn into really big numbers over time if you do well over time and if you keep going at it for a long period of time. Now, interestingly, and this gets back to the point I wanted to make earlier. I think that's why mentors, and this is what Ian Kessel writes in a second as well, why they can be so valuable. Let's just say someone can help you to improve your investing processes just a little bit. Say you are able to earn a return of 9.5%, so just 0.5 percentage points more instead of 9% a year. Let us have a look at what this does to the numbers. So I'm using a compound interest calculator here. Let's just use 9.5. So instead of 1.8 million, you will have all of a sudden have around $2 million. So almost $200,000 more. And if you look at the data, your average investor is actually doing much more poorly. I think the average investor, and I've opened a tab for it here as well, according to JP Morgan, only achieves a return of 2.1%. So if you now imagine that you can improve your return by, say, 2 or 3 percentage points, let's just say we improve it from 9% to 11% a year. So instead of 1.8 million after 30 years, you will end up with 2.7 $7 million US. So this shows you what a great investment, an investment in your know-how actually is. And this brings me to a tweet I wanted to reference here as well, because I recently wrote a tweet that highlighted that I think what's underappreciated in the world of personal finance is an asset class that few people talk about. So everyone is talking about the most commonly encountered asset classes. That would be stocks, real estate, maybe crypto, bonds, of course, mutual funds and ETFs. But few people talk about an investment in yourself, in your skill. This is what Warren Buffett has highlighted himself. He has said the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. And Ian Kessel, he believes in this as well. So he writes, and he's quoting Mike Murdoch first of all, there are two ways to receive wisdom: mistakes and mentors. And of course, you can make mistakes and you should make mistakes because this will make you a better investor. But at the same time, I think it's important to take a shortcut, to learn from others. Because if you can achieve a higher return more quickly, this will pay off big time over the long term. And then Ian writes, mentors are very important in business and personal development. Don't take advice from someone who has never done what you are about to do. I had a mentor early in my investment career and it rapidly increased my learning. Mentors are rarely your best friends because they only care about your success, not your comfort. And let me wrap it up here by describing what my relationship with my mentees looks like. And I agree with Ian here. I try to provide as much value as I can to them, but at the same time, to provide value, I sometimes have to be a bit critical. I sometimes have to be a bit harsh. I have to help them push through, to really put in the work early on, because as Ian has said, early on, you really have to immerse yourself. You have to study hard. You have to work hard. You have to deserve great returns by putting in a lot of work into improving your know-how, your skill. As Charlie Munger has said, to get what you want, you have to deserve what you want. The world is not yet a crazy enough place to reward a whole bunch of undeserving people. And I'm going to wrap it up with that. Let me know what you think of some of the takes I shared in this video, and I'll talk to you soon.